So now we have here the difference between your blood and interstitial fluid. And your blood is composed of plasma. This is the liquid component of blood or the fluid component of blood. Your blood also contains formed elements. So this is the solid components of your blood, your cells in general, red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. Your interstitial fluid is the liquid found in between your cells, and this is renewed by blood. So remember our discussion with your lymphatic system. Diba? From blood, it goes to the interstitial space or fluid, and from there, it is absorbed by your lymphatic vessels and becomes lymph. After nga becoming lymph, it will go back eventually to your venous circulation and mabalik siya kay blood. So that is why it is said na si interstitial fluid is renewed by blood. Kay permit kada transfer nila, may Japon ka enters interstitial fluid. Okay, now let's talk about functions of the blood. So general lang na sila. Number one, you have transportation. So ano gina-transport sa blood? So your blood carries gases. We already know your oxygen and carbon dioxide mainly. And then you have your nutrients. Dinhalin yung nutrients. Generally speaking, from your gastrointestinal tract. So what you eat, what you drink, will eventually go to your blood para mag-go sa circulation and mag-go sa organs nyo. What else? You also have your hormones, so that will be further discussed in your endocrine system, and also transport of waste products. So damo-damo bilabay, go put kay blood. The next function is regulation, so regulation of blood pH or the acidity of blood as well as your temperature. And lastly, protection, specifically protection from bleeding and other diseases. So this is talking about your immune responses already. Next, we have the physical characteristics of blood. So your blood is thicker than water. Lapuyot siya kasi kay water. And your blood is 8% of your body's total weight. So the normal temperature of your blood is 38 degrees Celsius, 1 degree Celsius higher than your internal body temperature. Next, your blood is a type of connective tissue. Next, you have your blood pH. Normal is 7.35 to 7.45. And lastly, you have the blood volume. So on average, males have 4 to 5 liters of blood, while females have 5 to 6 liters. Now we have here the components of your blood. So this is what centrifuge blood looks like. So once blood is centrifuged, blood is drawn from you, put into a test tube, and being made to spin in a machine so quickly nga nag-separate ng solid and liquid components. So what you'll eventually get is something that looks like this. Okay, where you can see, nasa babaw, you have your liquid component sa middle portion niya, kada local bubbly substance na color white, and sa dalong, arendala siya ang red na portion. So that is what happens when the liquid component rises sa babaw, that is your plasma, and the solid components settle at the bottom. You have your plasma, the liquid component, the middle layer, which is your buffy coat, and the most bottom, you have your red blood cells. Your blood has two main components. You have your plasma and your formed elements. Plasma is the liquid component of blood, and this is 55% of the blood. Your formed elements are 45%. Your blood plasma is composed of proteins and water and other substances. Okay, but as you can see, mas damo yung percentage ni water, that's 91.5%. And you have 7% proteins and gamay na various substances. Under your proteins, the most numerous is your albumin. Next, you have your fibrinogen and your globulin. So these are proteins found in your plasma. Other substances found in your blood plasma are your electrolytes. So you have your potassium, your sodium. You also have nutrients, your gases, some regulatory substances, and your waste products. So tanan sila is found kay liquid component ni blood. For the formed elements, we have our three major formed elements. You have your red blood cell, platelets, and your white blood cells. So these are arranged in order kung sino pinakadamo. So pinakadamo, bigyan sa tanan is your red blood cells, followed by your platelets, and pinakajutay is your white blood cells. Further, si white blood cells, meron siya types. You have your granulocytes and agranulocytes. The main difference is that si granulocytes, meron siya granules. Si agranulocytes, di ba, when you see the word letter A, before a medical terminology, this means nga without. So, si agranulocytes without granules. Under kay granulocytes, you have your basophils, eosinophils, and neutrophils. Under agranulocytes, you have your lymphocyte and monocytes. And during the lifespan of your monocytes, they eventually become your macrophages. So for the granulocytes, the most numerous is your neutrophils. For your agranulocytes, the most numerous is your lymphocytes. And generally, overall, ang pinakadamo gid is your neutrophils.